So what I'm going to cover off today is using Google tools for recruitment and for sourcing. We all pretty much, I would imagine 99% of us use Google as our default search engine. It's very much a part of our life, so much so that you don't search for something, you Google it. It's became synonymous with that in the same way as, using a Hoover would be, Hoover's always a Hoover now, a Frisbee's always a Frisbee. It's all about the brand. It's became very important, and it's became the most important organisation for the internet. But Google just isn't about the search engine. Google has a wide range and a wide suite of other services that are available to you, whether it's Google Mail. You might be aware that YouTube is a Google service as well. You've got loads of other things. Android is actually originally came from the Google team, as much as it's kind of hived out the operating system that you'll potentially use on your mobile phone. If you don't have an iPhone, then you've probably got a device that runs the Android operating system as well. So that's part of what you do. Google Mail is taken over the world and is pretty much the kind of default personal mail application of choice, and is now winning hearts and minds in the business and enterprise world as well. So it's a very diverse organisation with a really diverse suite of services and products. But we are going to focus today. We are actually going to focus on four different areas. We're going to focus on. I'm going to show you first of all signing up for a Google account, just in case anyone hasn't done that already, and then I'm going to focus on four different areas. I'm going to talk about a Google Advanced Search, Google Custom Search Engines, the link shortening facility in Google, and also Google Alerts. Now, these are all completely free of charge. You don't have to pay for these services. As with anything, before you use them, double check the terms and conditions and make sure you're happy with it. Be aware that all the information that you're putting into these services, Google does use that. Google does track it and uses it for targeted advertising towards yourself. So just do bear that in mind. That's how, the reason why these services are free is because Google does use the data that you're putting into these sites and these facilities. So, what I want to do first of all is just recommend to anyone who doesn't already that they use Google Chrome as their default browser. Okay, now everyone should now be able to see Google Chrome open there. That will be the WebEx invitation that I've just got opened. I've just closed that now. So please, I would highly recommend, and I know it'll be subject to your internet policy within your organisation, but where you possibly can, please use Google Chrome as your default browser, as your browser of choice. Sign up for a Google account completely free of charge at google.com/accounts. Okay, I'm not going to go into that because it will take you into my personal account and I'll show you information. And you can either set up a Google account as a new Gmail address, for example, or what you can actually do is register the Google account to your existing work address. It doesn't mean it's going to replace your email service. It just means that there's a Google account that's associated with your work address, as opposed to setting up a brand new email address. You might actually want to do that if you are using your Google account, or you want to have a dedicated Google account purely for work. You may want to separate it and keep your personal Google account for all your personal bits and bobs, and use the work associated Google account excuse me, for all your work stuff. My own personal preference is I've got everything actually saved into my personal Google account. It just makes life easy for me, and that's just into my own personal preference. Once you've actually signed up for a Google account, if you haven't actually done so already, then a really good thing about that is that you can then use that account to sign into multiple devices. You can use that on your mobile phone, whether it's an Apple phone or whether it's an Android-based operating system, laptops, desktops, tablets. you can take this account and you can use it on any device, and it means that anything that I'm going to show you today will be retained, so it will transfer over onto other devices. So you don't need to, for example, just have it in your work account, on your work PC or your work laptop. You could use it on your personal laptop, your personal device, and that's becoming really, really important, a really important facility, particularly in the advent of bring your own device policies. The chances are you might actually use your personal device to access work information. I know as much as I've got my work mobile phone, I do also have quite a lot of work stuff loaded onto my personal mobile phone, because at the weekends my work mobile phone tends to get switched off and thrown in the drawer, so that I don't get interrupted by calls, but I do still occasionally want to pick up on emails, for example, and access documents, and I've got that all loaded onto my personal phone. So, first of all, sign up for your Google account. Now, the next thing that I am going to show you is I'm going to show you, first of all, the custom search engine facility within Google. As I said, the kind of normal bog standard search engine that Google offer, we all use that day to day, but it is possible to set up a custom search engine that is tailored towards your own specific needs. It might sound quite technical, but actually the basic version of it, it's not very technical, it's quite straightforward and not particularly intimidating. So to be honest, you will be able to do that yourself, no problem at all. So what I've got in front of me is my Google Custom Search Engine page. I'm just highlighting the URL. At the top of the page here, you've got https://google.com/CSE. So you can access that site. And once you've accessed that site, it will take you to this page. It's the Google Custom Search page. If anyone can't see any of this information, please drop me a message on the chat facility. I just want to make sure everybody can see what I'm doing. We've got a couple of options here down the left-hand side. We've got a new search engine, edit search engine, help, which has got a complete guide to this, send feedback if you've got any feedback. But it's quite a sparse page, so there's not a massive amount of information there. So what I want to do to create my own Google custom search engine is I want to first of all click on Add. I'll give that a second just to load. And it's saying enter the site name and click Create to create a search engine for your site. What it's actually asking you to do is enter the URL of the website that you want the Google Custom Search Engine to target. So the main purpose of the Google Search Engine is to specifically search against a specific site alone. So I could, for example, here, just type in bbc.co.uk. Okay, I can then scroll down, name my search engine, BBC website. Okay, I don't need to worry about any advanced options. I could simply select Create, and I've successfully created my custom search engine. I've created a search engine that is only going to search against the BBC website. If I want to view that, then I can click Public URL. And if I then want to use this search engine, I search within this search bar. And let's say I wanted to search for the Commonwealth Games. And what that does is searches the BBC website for anything related to the Commonwealth Games. And you'll notice that the only results that are coming up are those from the BBC website. Okay, so that's a really simple example. I'm now just going to go back to CSE, the CSE homepage, and I'm going to show you an example that's maybe a bit more related to recruitment. I'm going to set up a custom search engine that only brings me back profiles from LinkedIn. Okay, so what I can do, simply again, I can click Add. and I'm going to use the UK LinkedIn site as an example. So I'm going to type in uk.linkedin.com/pin, and I'm going to type in uk.linkedin.com/pub. Now, those two URLs, those two LinkedIn URLs, are the two URLs that every single public LinkedIn profile contains. So, for example, my LinkedIn profile address is linkedin.com/in/Billy McDiarmid. Some others are linkedin.com/pub/ their name or whatever other custom name that they've actually given their page. Okay. You can see here just in the guidance, you can add any of the following. You can add individual pages, entire sites, parts of sites, or an entire domain. So that's why I'm able to put in uk.linkedin.com, because that's looking just at that domain, that uk.linkedin.com domain. But I can also put in /in/pub, because that's the parts of the site section. Okay. Now there is other options, other advanced options available for you. If I click on the use the CSE creation from keywords tool, for example, okay, then I'm just going to use a really basic example. Type in recruitment, and then this will start to give me some more advanced options. Okay, now if I type in recruitment, sourcing, talent, jobs, candidates, for example, acquisition, and just type in any relevant words that are relevant. I need to put in commas here just to separate them. Okay. Then it's actually going to give me lots and lots of other words that I can consider there. But if I click on expand keywords and then go to step 2, then what it's going to do is it's going to generate me some potential URLs, potential website addresses that I could then actually build in to my website. Now it's hit and miss, so you do need to be careful. I can see here actually that those are all completely irrelevant, but it's worthwhile having a play about with that. But as I say, you don't need to use these advanced options. You can actually just use the basic custom search engine that I started to set up. So I'm just going to go back and I'm just going to do that again. I'm going to delete that one that I just created there. And I'm going to start setting up my LinkedIn one again. So as I said, I put in uk.linkedin.com/pub, uk.linkedin.com/in. Now you can of course change that UK to any of the country codes that LinkedIn does, so France, Germany, so FR or DE, or for the US it is just www. So you can change that to anything you want. I'm going to keep this nice and simple. I'm just going to call this UK LinkedIn. Doesn't matter what you call it, so don't worry too much. I'm then going to hit create. I'm just going to give that a second to generate. I'm going to open the public version of that page. Takes me to a very similar website, or the exact same website as my previous BBC example. But what I'll now do is I could go search project manager, Prince 2, SharePoint. Okay, and as you can see, what that's now doing is that's bringing me back profiles from LinkedIn of people who match that criteria. Okay, so it's a really quick and really, really simple way of quickly bringing back search results without actually going into LinkedIn to do it. And arguably the results are better. It depends on the kind of thing that you're doing, and it depends on your own personal preference. Okay. Now, there are a couple of restrictions to this. I'll talk about the benefits of using a Google account or some of the other benefits of using a Google account. One of the ones that you can do is, one of the benefits is you can actually increase the number of results that are displayed on your page. When you're using a Google custom search engine, you're not able to do that. You can only see the default, which is 10. So if, like me, I've got my Google search results to set up so that it displays 50 results per page. 100 results per page as opposed to 50. I can't do this when I use a Google custom search engine. So that's one of the restrictions. But if you're only interested in bringing up 10 results per page, then custom search engines are great. And you can use this with any website. Okay, like I'm just using LinkedIn as an example, but you could set up a custom search engine to target any website. Try it on your own corporate website, okay, and see what kind of results you get. That would be a really, really good example. Great. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, I'll just show you about the benefits of using a Google account, or some of the benefits. And I highly recommend that you do this, and it will improve your results, or improve the way that you view results. You can actually go into your Google search settings and change your default results. So I'm just going to quickly do this just to show you as an example. I've run a search. If I wanted to change the way that those results are displayed, then I can click on options and I can click on search settings. And this gives you lots of different options. You've got your safe search filters, Google instant predictions. You can close them off if you want. You do tend to find that if you're working with an older machine, that sometimes instant predictions can actually slow your machine down. So you might actually want to switch that off. If I want to change my Google results, okay, to increase the number of results per page, then I need to switch instant predictions off. And then what I can do is increase that to 100. Okay. You've got an option there for private results. Now, the way Google search results work is it does tailor the content according to you, according to your search history, according to what you have looked for in the past before. Okay. If you don't want Google to do that, then you need to switch off private results. So you just click Do Not Use Private Results. And you can change things like where results open as well. Now, you can do this without a Google account, but it doesn't retain your settings. So it means each time you use Google, you've then got to change it again. Or if you use it on a different device, then you've got to change it again. The other thing is your search history. When signed in, you can receive more relevant results and recommendations based on your search activity. That means that it will save your search history across multiple devices. So what you search for in the office and what you do in the office would be available, for example, on your home PC if you were signed in to that account. You can also change things like languages, location, etc., and that will all be retained. So that's the main benefit to me of using a Google account rather than not. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is Google Advanced Search. So I'm just going to go back to the Google homepage. Google Advanced Search is a great way of quickly running a more technical search. If you're perhaps not as confident or don't have any knowledge of using Boolean logic to build an X-ray search. So to access that, then normally the link just here seems to disappear from somewhere. So what I'm just going to do is to type it in here, language type. Okay. and it's just google.com/advanced search. And you'll see you've got lots and lots of different options. So you can tell Google to find pages with all these words, exact words or phrases, any of these words, none of these words, numbers ranging from. But then you can actually do things like narrow down by language, by region, by the last time it was updated, to a specific site or domain, reading level, file type, lots and lots and lots of different options. So if I wanted to find pages that had everything related to Billy McDiarmid, okay, but if I didn't want, say, didn't want to see anything from LinkedIn, for example, it's the wrong field. Then I can try that. Okay, click advanced search. Okay, and what you can see there is that's bringing back results that match my name, but it hasn't included my LinkedIn profile. Now that can be really, really useful because LinkedIn, because it is LinkedIn and because it's a very well used page, a very heavily used page and a very heavily used website, the optimization of LinkedIn on Google means that LinkedIn results always appear very highly and normally at the top of a set of results. So if you exclude LinkedIn from your search, then it might lead you to other sources to find people, like Twitter, for example, like Facebook, let's see, no, it wasn't my 70th birthday on February 28th, and I'm not that old yet. Pinterest, Spotify even, my Google Plus account, the Drum, family tree maker website I signed up to a while ago, Kilter. So it can lead you to loads and loads of different sources for candidates. So it's got a lot of old information as well on there. So it's got old networking groups that I was part of, old employer information. It's got my own domain name homepage there, for example. So lots and lots of different information that it can lead you to there. So exclusions are a really important part of search. And sourcing, as it can actually lead you into other areas that you perhaps hadn't thought of. Okay, so that's Google Advanced Search. So have a play about with that. Okay, the next thing I'm going to just talk about is Google Alerts. So say that you do find a search that you're really, really happy with, that has been a really, really powerful search for you, and you want Google to automatically email you results of that search when there's new results available. Now, for example, I've got two just basic ones set up here as examples. I've got one that emails me weekly with new new phrases about, new results about my name. So if my name is mentioned anywhere, then I get an email that tells me about that. And I've also just got a very simple one, Boolean recruitment set up. I could literally set it up about anything. I could set it up about Commonwealth Games, or I could set up a more advanced search. So, for example, I could, set up a really quite straightforward Boolean string. That would search for, say, project managers. Okay. So I could do that, click create alert, and that automatically now is going to email me when there's new results. But I can change it, so I can change it so that it's weekly. Can change the sources, so if you don't want everything, if you only wanted it, say, to come from blogs, you could do that. If you only wanted it to come from a certain language or a certain region, how many results, and then the email address you want it delivered to. So it doesn't have to be your work email address, the email address that you've registered against your Google account. you could send it to an RSS feed, for example, as well. So this is really handy if you find a set of results, or sorry, if you find a Google search which has been really helpful and really powerful for you to find candidates, then you don't have to go in and search that or use that search manually all the time. You can just tell Google to automatically tell you when there's any new results for it. Now, a couple of caveats on that. First of all, just keep an eye on the search to make sure that it is still generating results, because website pages do have a tendency to change, and when they change, generally speaking, it will knock out results. So if the structure, if you're focused on one specific website, and say the owners of that website decide to change the structure of it, then it means the results aren't going to be relevant anymore, and your search probably won't work. The other thing to bear in mind as well is that sorry, just had a complete mind blank there about the second thing that I was going to mention. It'll come to me at some point. So I've just had a busy morning. But yeah, the main thing is just make sure that your search is relevant. Okay, great. So that's Google Alerts. And the final thing I just want to point out to you and talk to you about is Google URL Shortener. Now, the Google URL Shortener, I use it, as you can see, on a daily basis. I actually use this every time that I push a link out from our website, from LinkedIn, or from any other sources. And generally what I'll do is I will actually set up a Google URL Shortener to actually track the number of clicks that are coming from that. So if you, for example, perfect example, if you had an advertisement that you had pushed out to a certain specific site that was a new site, so say it was a forum you wanted to push it out to, and you wanted to track the number of clicks that was getting, then what you could do is add in the URL where you posted that to. You click on Shorten URL. Okay, and what it will do is it will actually generate a short URL for you. Okay, and then once you've done that, you can click on Details, and it'll actually give you quite a lot of clever analytics. It'll give you a QR code. I'm not really sure why you would just, for whatever reason, you use a QR code, but you might use that for marketing material, I suppose. It lets you filter it down by 2 hours, day, week, month, all time. You can see where the referrals are coming from. You can see what browsers that it's being accessed from. So at the moment, that's only came from Firefox, but it would list Chrome, it would list Internet Explorer, it would list Safari, it would list Opera, it would list all the web browsers that are available. Show you the countries it's been accessed from. I love this one. It always fascinates me. So I've had one click just on this test one that I set up for you from Canada. And then the platforms that it was accessed from, so it would tell you whether it's Windows, whether it's Linux, whether it was Mac OS, whether it was Android, whatever platform that it was actually accessed from. So it's a great tool for a recruiter or a sourcer for tracking where the results are actually coming from.